Hey, it's Richard Geller. I want to give you a tip on truth in lending violations. The whole Truth in Lending Act, TILA as we call it, TILA, really has a lot of clauses that favor the borrower. And in the last 5 years, a lot of the loans that were made in violation of TILA. And unlike many laws, TILA doesn't require that you actually prove damages from a violation of the law. If the lender violated the law, then they're liable for the compensations and the rescissions and all the things that TILA provides. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice. Don't take advice from me. I'm some guy on the internet. What I did was I interviewed a very well-known lawyer, and I interviewed other people, and I put together this Get TILA Secrets home study course, which is a pretty quick read, and you can listen, and you'll basically learn. You'll be an expert on TILA as far as that goes. You're not going to be a lawyer, but you're going to know more than almost anybody else knows about TILA, and how it'll help homeowners, and how it'll help your clients, and how it'll help you. And if your loan was done through a broker, a loan broker, if you felt rushed, if you felt the papers weren't in order, if you felt uncomfortable, if they made a bunch of promises to you, I mean, there's all these red flags. Chances are there were TILA violations. Now, there's two ways of determining if there are TILA violations. The best way is by going to an expert lawyer who is a TILA expert, Truth in Lending Act expert with regard to mortgages, because TILA also applies to other types of loans. We're talking about mortgages. And you bring your original papers, and when I say original, I mean the ones that you left the settlement with, where you closed the loan and you signed the papers and it was notarized. You bring all those papers to the lawyer and they look it over and they do an audit. That's the best way of determining if there are TILA violations. The lawyer expert I interviewed said that there were never been paperwork she ever saw that there weren't TILA violations. And of course she's seeing the papers from people that think that they were scammed. But I mean, this is huge. It was a huge problem. So that's one way of doing it. I recommend that, okay? So what I'm going to tell you now is not something I recommend, but it's something that you can do. If you can't afford the lawyer or you don't have somebody in your area, this is not a good way of doing it, but it's better than nothing, okay? So what you do is you find someone that's really an experienced loan mortgage broker who understands all the paperwork and has been in the business a long time, and someone who's processed the paperwork and knows it backwards and forwards. And you find these people all over. They were mortgage brokers long before everybody and their brother became mortgage brokers, okay? And you basically pay them like $100, and they go over your paperwork with a fine-tooth comb, and they will spot all kinds of violations because they know what to look for, because they've done these for so many years. They'll say, oh, this isn't notarized, or this is cut off at the bottom by the copier machine, or you're missing this altogether, or look, they didn't fill this out, they left it blank, that's not right. And they'll tell you, okay? And you can have them write up in a simple little memo the things that were wrong with your file. Now, in order to do this, you need two things. You need every piece of paper that you left the closing table with when you got the loan or the refi. Every one. It's not enough. If you don't have those papers, you can't go back to the escrow or to the lender or whatever and say, oh, can you give me copies? Because a lot of times those copies are incomplete and don't contain the violations. You need to have the original, photocopies of what you signed. And the second requirement is you need to find a mortgage broker who's been in the business a long time and who's knowledgeable and really on top of things. But I think this tip will help you a lot. It'll save you a lot. Again, I recommend you go to a lawyer and you don't do this the way I'm telling you. But if you can't afford a lawyer or don't have one, this is an alternate course for you. If you're interested, in my course, it's a 365-day trial. GetTILASecrets.org. Get TILA secrets.org. Get on my list. If you're not on my list, if you're watching this video on another site, get on my list, because you're going to want to get I give you videos like this and information like this all the time. You could try out my material on a 365-day trial and get all your money back except for shipping if you're not entirely delighted. It's Richard Geller. Look forward to working together. Thank you.